Okay, the next topic could take a while because I want your interaction. Should we take a break first?
No,
No?
not yet.
Okay.
Not yet.
All right.
No.
But before I start, I'm going to take a few seconds. I just want to share with you my personal side. Some of you know that I was in here last week. This year, this second half of the year, been a fun year for us. In the end of August, we had our 6th grandchild. So that was a happy thing. Yeah. And as you know, last time I was away. By the time we got to Jersey, my father-in-law already passed away. He passed away that day we got there. So we got good news, we got bad news, and then after we came home, we find out that we now have to get ready for 2 more weddings. Both of our last daughters at home are getting married in December and February.
Wow.
So that's why our schedule been sort of crazy. What I learned with girls is this: you can give them advice, but the response is always, "Oh, Dad." I think there's a generation gap already. And the fun part is, when you have to narrow it down from a 600 people guest list, we're down to 280. It's crazy. So the invitational, I said to say, I don't know yet. I'd like to be there. I am working the hardest, perhaps at the very least for that day, for the Thursday. The rest, I don't know. We're going crazy right now. My fiance just came in last night, and all my plans have changed. I don't seem to get notified too much on things. Anyway, on to the good things. The ministry, as many of you already know, have made some changes last Monday. Now, this is the way I express to my clients or anyone who asks. They have been taking a hammer and a chisel, trying to fix the real estate escalation problem, quote unquote, so-called bubble may burst. Whether it's true or not, that of course is another issue. The last 3 years, what they did was they took a chisel and a hammer, trying to modify it, and it worked for about a month or 2, and then we find a way to beat it. Prices slowed down, and boom, it gone back up again. This time, they got smarter. Instead of taking a hammer and a chisel, they took a sledgehammer out, and seems to have done a lot more damage than before. To be honest, we all talk about we've been in business for a while. The Monday when the announcement came out, it was a surprise to all of us. They never consulted any industry group. Tuesday, by about noontime, they started to sink in, saying, uh-oh, big uh-oh. By about 1 o'clock, I remember turning to my wife and said, you know, after 28 years, forget this. I don't need this. Let's pack it in. I don't know how many of you have those thoughts going through your mind, right? It's like, let the younger kids play with this. And I was ready to pack it in. I kid you not. 2 hours later, I go, wait a minute. If people like us, who's been around, top producers in our own industry, in our own rights, if we feel that, how are the newcomers, how do they feel? There are a lot of new kids in the block. How do they feel? In fact, half of them don't even know what's going on. I got people telling me that they've just been told by the mortgage brokers / their bankers that, oh no, whatever it is still okay. I just sort of chuckle, said, stay with them, good luck. Make sure you get it in writing. So, 2 hours later, I go, wait a minute. Big word came to my mind, opportunity. Of course, we need to figure out a new way to do business. The old way has changed. But that's good, because if you're the first one figuring out a way to do this, you will find that. So I want to just talk about some of those. I will share with you just a couple of my ideas if you want to. And then I'm going to take some feedback. That's why I think it'll take a while, because I know we all have different ideas. Now, I'm going to pass this out. Let's talk about the changes. Just in case if some haven't missed it, this is nothing new already. This is all new. So, what are the changes? Well, basically, in fact, let me backtrack. The mortgage industry in Canada, whether you know it or not, everything is insured by CMHC. High ratio, low ratio is all insured. We talked about that before. Okay, even if you put 50% down payment in it, eventually the bank or the institution is going to take that money, insure it, so they can sell it. Nobody has money anymore. Nobody wants to hold on to money anymore. In the mortgage industry, there is no money to be made. 2.5%. 1.9%. Where is the profit? Let's be honest. And when you get a discount of 0.05%, it's peanut. That's a psychological victory for you. I often say to my clients, so how much richer would you be 5 years from now because of that discount? Oh, but I'm $400 ahead. Wow, great. After you pay $95,000. Banks still have to do mortgages because this is how they get people to come in. If I buy the mortgage, I know you're going to come back for the car loans. It's the most important part. Just to give you an idea, how many of you heard of a bank called CIBC? Yeah? CIBC was big. They used to have a company called First Line Mortgage. Heard of that?
Yes.
Yeah. First Line, the mortgage, 38% of the mortgage brokers use First Line Mortgage. That's how big it was. 3 years ago, maybe 4 now, CIBC.
Sorry, let me interrupt. I'm hearing a lot of noise in the background. Guys, please, when the presenter's on, let's let them talk, okay? Thank you.
CIBC 3 or 4 years ago say, there's no money. 38% of the market, big deal. What did they do to First Line? Wind it down.
What was that?
Sell it.
What was that?
There's no money in there. It's not profitable. Mortgage Center, you heard of that?
Yeah.
They hold our franchise right for 25 years. Last year sold it. There's no money in it. Okay, that's to give you a sense of where it's going. Mortgage is the two-way. You can sell the mortgage, you can hold on to it in your portfolio. The government also said, hey, just to be sure, if you have this much mortgage, you have to have this much cash holding just in case. CIBC basically go, if I'm going to tie up this much cash, I can make more money with that cash doing something else. So mortgage is sort of like a lost leader. Just keep that in mind. People think the banks are making a killing. That's not quite true. So the best way is you take a mortgage, you insure it, you sell it. That's called bulk insurance. Whether you pay for it or not, you pay for it. Even though it's free, it's not free. We all know nothing's free, right? It's built into the price. So CMHC came along, and I'll take questions after. CMHC came along basically, or the government came along and say, okay, regardless, if you need CMHC, here are the new rules. Qualifying has to be at a higher rate. They call it a stress test. Up until 2 weeks ago, if you take a 5-year mortgage, whatever your contract rate is, that's the number we use for qualifying. Now, this rule applies to 4 years or under. So you might say, I get 2.5%. They say, no, we're going to calculate based on 4.64. So basically, your payment more than double. Can you still afford it? That's the stress test. Now they say, don't care. Even if you take a 5-year mortgage, we're still going to base that. Can you still afford it? The long and short is, 1/3 of the people will no longer qualify. Wow. That's huge. That's not my number, that's Genworth statistics. In the back of the sheet, this is the one, to give you a sense of what you can qualify now. And you'll find most people, basically, what client that used to qualify for $550,000, now they're good for about $430,000. That's huge. In Toronto, I know you're going to say, well, what can they afford buying? Okay, so whether you have 20% down or not, secondary issue. You can go through all that now. The other thing is, right after they say, rental, sorry, no mortgage for investment homes. No, what rate are you going to charge? Extra premium? No, period. All of a sudden I go, that's why I go, a good chunk of mine is investors buying rental properties. It's not how much now, it's no.
Like
good luck.
Huh?
Oh yes, no rental. And then about 4 days later they go, well, I guess we didn't give you guys enough time.
Yeah.
So everything go back to normal. You got till November 30th to figure out how to go to the new rules. So I still don't tell people if they come for rental, I said no. Because November 30th is going to be here before you know it. That's not a lot of time.
And that's based on the closing date of the property.
Well, that's another issue. We're hoping their grandfather, got the deal done, but regardless, it's not a lot of time, okay?
Sorry, November 30th is based on qualifying on,
Poster rate,
Yeah.
stress test.
No, that's
Input.
effective
For
now
rent.
with
that is
the,
effective,
with the
yes.
stress test
Can you
rate.
just review the rental scenario again?
Okay, so for the investment, so if your client said, I'm buying this as a rental, even if they qualify, let's set that issue aside, the income's there and everything else is there, the answer is no mortgage. I can't get you a mortgage.
Do we any big bank?
Banks can.
Banks maybe for now, because a bank could use what they call portfolio. They can say, we don't need CMHC. We have our cash, we'll take our cash and give it to you. If that's the case, they will, but I don't think they will continue doing it for long.
So it's under CMHC.
Because everything gets insured eventually. If they can't get it insured, they're not going to give you the money. So the bank would have the advantage, or may have the advantage initially, but short of that, now,
sorry, so what does that mean? For rental investors, you need at least 50%?
Zero.
well, all I can tell you is, you
No,
come to
no,
me and
it's-
say,
no, it's-
David,
no.
who's the guy buying an investment property?
No, it's 20%.
I'll just smile and say, I can't get him a mortgage.
Oh,
Period.
I thought you had
Period.
30%? No, sorry, Peter.
Even
you said-
50%.
We're confused.
Okay, we can talk about this, there still is one or two lenders out there that are doing it with 20 and 25%.
For now,
For now.
for now.
Okay.
That
So
will
who
be-
are those lenders?
Just talk to your bank, because they will eventually not hold in a portfolio. It
So
doesn't
we're talking
take-
about secondary financing, obviously.
Yes. So I'm sorry, that's a good point. So for prime mortgages, no. We do have secondary lenders. Now, instead of 2.5%, we're looking 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 12%, depending on the finance. We can still do it. So those things are really changing the game.
So
So,
it's a good time to lend money then?
yeah,
Yep.
yeah.
Yep.
Maybe
So
not.
anybody that's holding second mortgages and pooling mortgage money together, remember we talked about that? Pooling money, because buy your home, what do you have? 500,000? Look after two people, the money's gone. When you pool, it's a different story, and you can sell it and do what the bank do, make money on fees.
So all the refinances are gonna be screwed too.
Yep.
Yes.
They're gonna be scrutinized.
Okay, that's a good point. That's
Yeah,
still
we're-
a
we're
little
really
bit
good point.
slightly iffy. See, okay, depending on how you say refinances, let's talk about renewal first. A lot of people don't need new money. 5 years come up, bank will send you statement, blank statement, check off whatever you want, boom, done, no questions asked.
Okay.
Now, the new thing is, they need to be stress tested again.
For renewal.
Yes, it's going to be fun. Now, that's not very clear.
Yeah, because what if someone needs to renew today?
If you lost your
No,
job.
no, you need to refinance today.
A rental you mean, or?
No, like just someone that's, like, there was 5% and they're struggling and they need to refinance today.
Under the new rule, it's going to be funny.
It's gonna be?
Huh?
It's gonna be what?
Under the new rule, it's going to be funny. Don't know. Right
It's not clear
now,
cut. It's not the 2.5 or the 4.7, 4.67. What is it?
4.4.
4.64, sorry.
right now, as it stands, because they're going back and forth, we have till November 30th to go back to the old rule. So at the moment, you may be okay. After November 30th, don't know. They're supposed to go back and say, okay, so you lost your job.
Because a lot of people are using their home as an ATM because houses are going up and up and up.
Yep.
That's what they're
and
trying to stop.
This is what they're trying to stop. This is the whole point of this whole thing.
Now, so you know, you can argue all you want. Right now, a lot of people think they know. I have to say, I don't really know what the rules, what it really, the impact is. The reason is this, it's not the rules as much as the interpretation of the rules.
If somebody has a line of credit against their house and they come up for renewal,
Same thing.
then you wouldn't.
A line of credit is a
Qualify?
mortgage. The bank like to give it different names so people don't feel they have a
A
mortgage.
charge is a charge.
A mortgage is a mortgage, a debt is a debt.
And at
Home-
renewal, they
Home
could
equity
say,
line of credit.
so hang on a minute,
student
but at
loan.
renewal, they could say, sorry, based on
Yes.
your,
You don't
Potentially-
qualify.
you don't qualify, we need you to pay
Potentially, that's
100,000?
right.
Upfront?
Potentially, that could happen.
Or you go secondary financing.
Or
See, all along is, once we got the mortgage, we go, oh, I'm fine now, right? Just renew, don't say a word, they'll keep renewing.
Yep.
Yeah, all I can say is new game. Are they gonna enforce that? Are they gonna change it?
Well,
I
they're
think-
gonna kill our entire economy if they enforce it. That's all I can say.
They will.
This is overkill.
I
Yeah, I
do know
agree.
a lot of my clients, I suggest to them, renew as is because I don't need to reapprove them. Income goes down, job loss, whatever situations are, just don't even go ask for the better rate. You don't want to open up a can of worms, just sign it, send it back, yeah. Right now,
That's what I do
it's
with my car insurance. Oh, they didn't check my abstract, hallelujah.
so it's going to be fun. Okay, anybody who say they really know what's going on, they don't. Even the government said they don't know, understand it.
On that part, anyone that thinks that the interest rates are not gonna go up,
They're crazy.
they
As
will
of,
go up.
as of 2 days ago, the fixed rate gone up 0.05%.
Reason being, which I'll talk maybe a little bit about it later, is the fact that we are destroying pension funds right now. Pension managers are screaming at the policymakers at what they're doing right now. We're trying to fix a part of the
Yeah,
economy, but
let's-
we're messing up another
Let's
part.
leave that as another issue. There are a couple of reasons for rates to go up. One is we can't control it, the economy controls that. But this particular increase is because the way this is happening, the cost of doing business is going to go up, they're going to price it in. See, before it's easy. You have the money, you fund all this mortgage, you got this big pool, you sell the pool. Straightforward. Now, I can't insure some of this. I got to find new ways to do business. It's going to cost. And you're gonna find they'll keep escalating because the cost.
And the problem is
higher.
consumers are cash poor because as Ivan was saying, they use their banks, their houses as ATM machines.
Well,
That's where the
yesterday-
cash comes from.
Yesterday, I have a client came in. Okay, he's been with me for 15 years. Just so you know, he makes only $140,000.
Only?
She's a part-time teacher, what do you, long-term LTO, and I don't know what it is, she's not getting enough work. And there's other reasons, but it's not the point here. He said to me, we're so strapped last month, we have only $500 left. I sat there and I go, even if she get nothing, you make $140,000, no money. They have to run into the overdraft. This is real, guys.
Lifestyle,
Yes.
terrible.
lifestyle choices.
Now, they didn't pay me to consult on that side.
Wow.
Usually, I don't say much. I don't slap people's hands. This is great. I have to reconsolidate. They were only 20,000 in the whole so far, which is not bad. The typical debt consolidation I do is $150,000.
Sorry,
That course Gord's talking about ties right into this.
Yeah, so go.
sorry, so you're saying it would be a good idea to advise our clients to speak with their professional to get an early
Yeah.
renewal done?
Well, it's not even that. Whatever you get it in writing and read it twice.
Get it in writing
Read
and.
it twice.
Read it twice.
Oh.
Whatever commitment, get it in writing.
Plus the rules are
Because
changing.
right now, there
Still.
are a lot of cowboys out there that basically say, no, this is not right. Okay, now, I'll share with you, banks do have a slight advantage over us at the moment. That is, they don't need someone to approve the mortgage. If they have the approval limit, the system is still fraught that nobody double check. So if it's on the borderline and he likes you, he's just gonna say, okay. But I don't think that will last for long because the ombudsman is really hitting the bank saying, hey, you guys are the one cheating. How can you have someone do everything, including approving and verifying information? The biggest frauds are being committed at the bank level because we can't approve anything. We have the underwriter double checking things, right? We can't be in cahoot with everybody. And that will only be, like you say, banks will do some of that for now. And incidentally, all these so-called monoline, smaller names, institution, that's what's keeping the interest rate low. It's called competitions. The non-bank is doing 38% of the business. Banks are scared. So that's why they have to compete. As soon as this, if we get removed, yeah. It's nothing to do with the economy. That's what they call profits. They're in the business to make money. When the other forces are removed, along, of course, there's economy and other pressures on it. And one more quick thing, when you say rate increase, you're going to hear that there's pressure for Bank of Canada to drop the rate. Good, bad, wicked, that's another issue. They shouldn't, but they will have to. That has nothing to do with your 5-year mortgage rate.
That's right.
You can see this drop and 5-year rate go up. So keep it in mind, variable rate is controlled by the Bank of Canada, politically driven. Fixed term, controlled by the bond market. So if you really want to know where the rates are going, in terms of fixed rate, check the bond, not rate, but bond yield. We've gone through that, so I'm not going to go through that with you on it. Basically, take the bond yield and add anywhere from 1.5 to 2.5%. That's the margin required for the bank to make money. Because they have to pay people like me, themselves, they have to sell it. Right now, the lowest is about 1.6%. So if you see the bond yield at 1%, you know that 2.6 is the best rate you can get. Okay, so when someone says, well, we can get it for 2.2, yes, they can. What's the catch? It's like selling a house for $900. Yes, they can. Yeah, I'll take some questions.
I'm working with people who are buying investment properties, so I just wanted to be clear as to, you saying, Peter was saying that there are lenders that can.
For now,
but it's
because they're
rare.
getting,
In other words, they may be thinking they're buying an investment property, I may be thinking they're buying an investment property. But you're saying that really and truly,
you may not get a mortgage at prime.
that hole is getting plugged quickly.
Yes. Because CMHC is not insuring it, that's how to get around it.
Is that a potential that a lot of investors might be wanting to sell their investments now?
I don't know, to me, on the contrary,
We're gonna hold on.
on the contrary, I think investment is great because you have fewer people buying.
Yeah.
See, here's something about pricing. We're greedy. When the rate is 4%, can you get me 3.5? Right? When the rate dropped to 2%, look, can you get me 1.5? 5, 6 years ago, 6% was a real deal. Now if you tell somebody you pay 5%, they go, oh, that's too high. It's all relative. We want a deal. Do your business sense. How much does it cost? I don't care what the rate is. How much can I bring in? If my income is greater than my expenses, that's the opportunity there. So,
Yeah, David, what happens if somebody actually owns an investment property right now and they're going to renew the mortgage?
That's exactly my point
That's
before.
what they're gonna ask.
What happens? Are they
It's
not
not
going to
meant-
be given a mortgage?
Maybe not.
They might want to
You can
sell.
lend them a second
I
mortgage.
know, that's why.
for now, all I'm saying is be prepared because we don't know how they're going to interpret. Because as you know, most of us are good at saying, this is not what it means. Now, would that banker or lender be willing to say, no, it really means this? Because that means they're sticking the neck out. Here's my take. This is my conspiracy theories. The last 5, 10 years, the bank have laid off most people thinking mortgage. Right after the last crash, why keep these people? The market's going to crash. They've been short-staffed. Now, in most layoff, this is my theory, the good guys are the first one to go. The bums are the ones that know how to cover the butts. They're the one that's staying, right? And most of them got maybe another 5 years left to retirement. So basically they say, no way am I going to risk my neck, my retirement for your deal. So the flexibility we used to see where people will fight for you will go down tremendously. The book said, well, I think that's what it means. No, sorry. I'm getting paid when I go home at 5 o'clock tonight.
See, I think the message to your investors that are looking for an investment property is hold your breath, keep waiting, because the prices are going to come down. Because these
Maybe.
people, are,
That's
there's only
another
a certain
consequence.
percentage of people that are going to be able to actually afford them, and cash will be king. That's my opinion.
So in many theory, let me share with you one. We talk a lot about negative. In a 5, 10 more
We've
minutes.
got 15 minutes.
Oh, good. Sorry, there's so many things we can talk about. Like this for me is just, nobody has the real answer right now as far as I'm concerned, until it's tested. Now, here's something I mentioned to Xander a little bit. Something that in principle, very easy for you to sell more properties, but it's hard to convince someone. You remember I talked about reverse mortgage a while ago? This is an application. So here's the problem. We've got young people sitting there saying, I can afford in Toronto, I don't know, just for lack of a better number, for $500,000 starter home.
Or
Right?
garage.
Yeah, right?
Arcane.
On this side, you got seniors, perhaps parents, sitting there. What are they saying? My house worth over $1 million or more. They don't see that. All they see, man, those taxes gone up again. They're out to get me. The hydro, look at this, how can they raise the hydro fees? Right? And then you say to them, well, you should sell the house and downsize. No way, I've been here 45 years, I'm gonna die in this house. Familiar story?
Take me out with the $5, is what they say.
In the meantime, they have children that say, I can't afford $500,000.
Here's an opportunity.
Now, I'm going to show you the logistics. The psychological side is a challenge.
It's called lawsuit.
Well,
I'm jumping ahead.
it's very simple. So you're saying your kids can't afford this, right? That's what we're saying.
Yeah.
They're saying, I can't afford to help. But one of my phrases you probably heard me use often is called, wake up your lazy assets. You got lazy assets. You got over $1 million or more sitting here. Okay, what if we take out, now these numbers are flexible, I'm just using for example, a $200,000 reverse mortgage. Take this out, give it to your kid, use it for down payment. I know they're expenses, let's keep the math simple. Now, can they afford a $300,000 mortgage?
There's a much higher probability they can.
Right?
Did you say lend it to your children? Do you
Oh,
expect to get paid anything for
That's
that?
up to you.
He did say that.
That's up to you.
No, I don't think
Okay, one other thing is, you may want to protect your children, because often from my business, what I see is not your children as much as somebody they meet afterwards. I just had one case similar to that. They took a regular mortgage, helped them, 6 months later there's a divorce. The other guy get half of this.
There's a lot of
Okay,
issues.
so yes, you could.
Early
We'll leave
inheritance.
we'll leave those protections talk later if you want to, because you can put a second mortgage on it. There are many ways to
It's
do
just the
it.
concept.
Now, the question they have is, I can't afford to take $200,000 out. Right, I can barely pay the taxes on this house. But with reverse mortgage, here's what's nice. No payment for life until the last survivor dies. 3 requirements. One is you have to live in the house. 2, you have to pay taxes.
That's it.
That's it. Now, you moved out, huh?
But it will be 300,000 by the time they go.
That's okay.
Yeah, but
That's okay. How much would this house be worth?
when they die.
There's always 2 sides to the equation. Yeah, by that time it could be 400,000. If they live to 105,
OPM.
this house itself would have gone up in value at the same time too. If it's worth $1 million, I'm only using 20% of that value. So this is going up fast, but so is the house. And here's another nice thing. So how many of you heard of inheritance tax? Okay, there's
Killing
tax,
us
there's
with
this
one
whole bunch of
step.
loophole, but still, if it's not done right, when this eventually goes to this side, it may present a tax issue.
Right, it will.
If it's 5, 10 years later, first of all, this number get lost somewhere. Right? And this house probably worth $1 million by that time. There's no taxes. So it's a good way to siphon this without changing. It's cash flow that counts. In fact, we entice another person this way. They say, everything's tight. You got money. What if we take $200,000 for them plus $1,000 a month for yourself? Does that change the lifestyle?
Yeah.
Oh, and no payments still.
Yeah.
So I just want to offer solutions that Mandy.
I think it's brilliant.
We need to be creative. We need to find a way to promote this, because I know it's not easy, because this person's mind is, I spent 45 years getting rid of my mortgage. There's no way am I going to get into debt again. So we need to learn how to sell the benefits. Now, here's another thing, sounds morbid. Eventually, they will have to sell this house. So you get your sale now. If you look after them well enough, this is the juicy side. Yeah.
One thing that you said I think really needs to be made even more clear is the rule about them having to pay their taxes. One of my clients, that happened to them. They had started losing their mind. The granddaughter came in one day, saw a whole stack of unopened bills, and he hadn't paid taxes. And she opened one letter that was from the reverse mortgage, and they were taking his house the following week.
From the reverse mortgage
From
company?
the reverse mortgage company.
Oh, because they didn't pay the
It
taxes.
was
Yeah.
Well, that's,
brutal.
yeah.
I put the house up, like she called me that night, we put the house up the next day. We got him into a rental. It was sold thankfully, like the day before, they were coming to take the house
Yeah, but
and got a
then
mortgage.
You've got kids that don't give a damn about
That's
their
right,
parents.
Got a lawyer
Come on, let's
to
talk about
negotiate,
So
but
that's
it's the
disgusting.
company that they're using,
Yeah.
and you just gotta make sure that they're following the
No,
rules.
okay, now,
Because
if they come to me, then I would right away
That's
say,
what
how
I'm
much do
saying,
you
yeah.
owe? Increase this portion.
you make
I don't
sure they're
know.
going to somebody like David that's gonna take care of them and
So,
figure that out,
Um,
not
now,
just.
just one more quick thing, is some of you know I like motorhomes, right? Anyone else have motorhomes here? Camping trailers?
Cottage in the woods?
That's not mobile. You're gonna find in this society, we want to travel, we want to retire early enough to go places. Now, have you priced or looked at a motorhome lately?
200?
How many of you seen mine outside? They're called Class B. Okay, they start at $120,000. And that's just the beginning, and they can go to $2 million. This is a way for a lot of people that you can convince them, if they don't have kids to worry about, or if there's enough money, give $200,000 to the kids, take another $100,000 out, get yourself a nice motorhome, no payment.
And do Airbnb on the house.
See how the ideas start to, so don't, all I'm trying to, the main focus I have is, don't get stuck on this and say, like what I did, say, let's pack it in.
No, I love the way you think, David. It's, but it is a little bit like
This is creating new business. If you can meet someone else,
communism.
like, think about it.
It's a great idea.
A quick, I need to have, how many clients do you think you know in this kind of situation where they have assets, they want to help the kids, but they don't think they have the resources? Am I barking up the wrong tree?
No, it's
No,
good.
that's true.
So think about that. And this won't be a star group topic, it's too big. If you want to sit down with me and form a small group to even target just that and
I love
know
that.
that.
Great idea. I think we should
Nobody
do that.
else is doing it.
Great idea.
Yes.
You mentioned if you needed a little bit more to pay your taxes, this company will just add to that. Is that
Oh,
possible to
yes.
do that?
Yes.
You just go back to the well?
Oh, yes, as long as there's equity in the house. By the way, they don't give you a lot, they go by age. If you're 60 years old, I checked it, when I looked at it, they'll give me like 15% of what the house is worth. Because the theory, now remember this, they won't see a penny of the investment back for an average of 15 years. If you're 60, statistically, you should live till 80. That's 20 years before they see a penny back.
What's the effective rate of interest on that kind of a
They charge
reverse mortgage?
5% compounded right now.
So what is that effective rate?
Well, 5%.
The total is 5%?
Well, it's hard to work out effective, is how long do you want it, how much lump sum up front versus a small amount.
Well, 5% is not bad.
No, especially if someone have no children.
5%
Yeah.
Or they don't plan to give it to the children. Or, in this case, help them set up equity ahead of time. Who
Yeah.
cares about this now?
They're gonna charge like 50% income tax, inheritance tax,
That's
right?
right.
Well, that's it. You're
It's huge.
circumventing that.
Yeah, and I'll answer you first and you. I have seen a client, this is real, they actually bought a house for his son when he was 13 years old, but didn't tell him.
Wow.
And this son came to me, they needed money, and he said to me, I hated this house. He said, whenever something goes wrong, guess who goes to the cleanup? Me. Until the wedding day, Dad said,
No
son,
kidding.
here's the key to your house. He said, I'm sorry, there's still $100,000 left that I couldn't pay off. House worth $400 by that time.
Wow.
He paid $200 10 years before
What
that.
a gift.
No, but I'm saying.
By the way,
it's
there's a little
another
clause in there that your wife
opportunity.
can't get any of this.
It is another opportunity for us.
Michelle
Say,
Okay.
Sorry, Peter, I promised these two first, okay? And then I think Jonathan had it first.
Well, just,
And
can
then,
you just?
Jonathan and then
No,
you.
no, it's okay.
Oh, you were saying her, okay.
Can you do a very, very simple review of numbers in a reverse mortgage that, let's say $1 million or 200,000? Just,
How it works?
yeah, just.
Okay, so let's use 100,000. So let's say you borrow 100,000. You owe them $100,000. After 1 month, what's 5% interest in that? No.
No,
Six-
that's divided by 12.
Let's call it 6% is easy. 6% is
$500.
$500 a month, right?
That's right.
Yes.
So let's use that. So after 1 month, they charge you $500. Now we owe them $100,000,
Plus.
105. Now, next month, the math gonna be complicated, it's 5% on this. So just compounding on. So
Okay.
eventually, if somebody say, you owe 300,000, okay, but when you do this, you should always do two calculations. What's the house worth? It's $1 million right now. Next year, on a 5% increase, it's $1,500,000, and then it's compounding up. So this will escalate faster than this. So
Right.
you look at it and say, okay, if we have to sell the house, how much money do you have?
And with the reverse sorry, it's not my turn.
Peter, yeah, Peter is saying.
Yeah, what I was gonna say, is on the reverse mortgage, I had a client who actually went through this, in terms of her daughter was getting married to this guy, and then she said to me, what do I do? And I said, well, if you want to protect your equity in the house, because she was basically putting the majority of the down payment for the house, I said, you can have what's called an original agreement for them before they get married, because they weren't married yet. And I said, that way you could protect your equity. So this is what she did. It was huge. Because guess what?
There's a divorce.
Not even 2 years later, they got divorced. Right? And so she didn't have to split it 50-50, because she had that agreement up front. And she said, I own this part of the house, this part belongs to me, this part is not divisible. If you don't stay married to my daughter, you're toast. You can't do it happen.
Mafia style.
So you can't do it. You don't even have to be Italian to do it.
And or at the same time, register a second mortgage for that amount. Right? If it's registered as a second mortgage, they have to pay the mortgage off before they sell the house.
Because it's a secured creditor. So the reverse mortgage, if let's say the interest rates do go up dramatically, whatever mortgage you set up for the reverse mortgage, and if it's 5%, like you say, that cannot change regardless, and that's for
But
life.
You take a mortgage, like terms.
It's
You
a
want
term.
5-year term, a 3-year term.
I see.
Okay, so it does
Yeah.
So you do have to renew?
Yes.
So it's based
The
on posted rates?
The
or-
renewal is basically looking at your interest rate. Now, the government said you still have to qualify. Now, you do the math, when it's 0 payment, what would his debt ratio be? It's
No, but
stupid.
in actual fact, what happens if you take out a 5-year term and the rates go up? Are you
So
now,
5 years later, the rate is 7%, well, they pay 7%.
so is there such a thing as a posted reverse mortgage rate?
No, there's only one bank doing it, so you have no choice.
So whatever the rate is, the
That's
Bank of
right.
Canada rate
That's
is what
right.
you pay?
No, they list the rate. They post the rate, so, yeah.
Which bank is that?
It's called Equity Bank.
Equity Bank.
There's only one in Canada. And by the way, don't Google, just Google. If you Google, be careful. I would say 80% of the information is American. It's not the same. Okay? In the state, if the value of the house drop below or closing up to the value you owe, they force you to sell the house. Their equity is not safe. In Canada, you got to stay as long as you live. That's the rule. So if the equity of the house dropped $100,000, value dropped $100,000, for argument's sake.
Then that's the risk of the
They
bank.
Yeah, that's the risk. Everything is different. As long as you live in the house and pay your taxes, they can't touch you, regardless of what happens. Which is nice, because at 85 years old, say, how do you do a refinance and you redo your plans?
So just a quick question, when banks aren't lending on investment properties, does that include cottages?
That's a tough one. That's not investment. That can be classed as a second home.
Okay.
And
Recreational.
Now the qualification is different. Can you afford paying for both mortgages, your home and that? Yeah.
Just wondered, okay.
Yeah. And at the stress test rate. So there's a lot of unknown right now. Do they calculate your own mortgage based on the discounted rate? We're not even sure, right? Because there's no specific on it. Like I said, my biggest fear is the interpretation. So when you hear someone got away with it, well, it could be because somebody bent the rules, and how long can they keep bending the rules? Was this helpful? Yes.